Hello everyone, my name is Chris. I am the Man Collects. Thank you for joining me here for another action figure review. If you do end up enjoying this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the Man Collects, consider subscribing to the channel. If you do subscribe, make sure you turn on that bell for notifications so you will know when videos drop. Look in the description of this video for the link to my Instagram account and follow me on Instagram or send me a message on there should you choose to. But now that we got all that social media pleasantries out of the way, let's talk about why we are here tonight. We are here to review a couple of figures from Jada Toys, their food mascot line they got going right now. We've got Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes, and we've got Chester Cheetah from Cheetos. These have been showing up in Target stores lately, but you can order them online as well. In Target stores, they are $24.99. If I can find a link to them on Target, I will put it in the description of this video. But if you go check the description and you don't see the link, I'm very sorry if I'm not able to find it. Sometimes Target site can be hicky like that. You can get them. They were on Big Bad Toy Store and all, and Entertainment Earth, places like that. But the prices kind of fluctuate there on the online retailers. But I do know when I bought these at Target, at that time they were $24.99. Some of this stuff has went up in price since then, so I'm not 100% sure on that price. So don't quote me on that. Anyways, all that stuff out of the way, right here's the ones we're going to be taking a look at. You got your Cheetos box there, you got your Frosted Flakes for Tony the Tiger. So now we're going to reposition the camera, take an overhead look at these things, and let's see what's in the boxes. Alright, action figures, snack food, and cereal fans, it is time to take a look at these figures. We're going to start with Chester Cheetah here and take a look at his packaging. Then we'll take a look at Tony. I really like the packaging on these guys. I mean, it looks great. I think sitting on a shelf, either as, you know, a standalone piece, or if you got the figures out of the box. I mean, it looks awesome. The colors and everything, vibrant and bright, and they pop. But up here you got telling you that it is an action figure, so you know that it is not edible, I guess. You got your branding here for Cheetos, and then Crunchy, of course, you've seen a bag of Cheetos. You know that looks like that. Recommended ages 13 and up on here. Then you got Chester Cheetah character name down there. Some more warning on there. Small parts, not recommended for children under 3 years. And then you turn to the side. I kind of like this too. This is fun because it looks here like you got a little nutritional facts thing there going on as far as what comes with it. But it says here serving size one figure per container, 1/12 action figure, one alternate head, 2 hands, 1 Cheeto, 1 bag. Quality paint, 100%. That's pretty cool, guys. I like that. That's kind of clever on Jada's part. There is the back of the box. Again, you got another graphic there with Chester Cheetah and some of the branding. Over here, same thing again. You got a picture of the figure holding the cheese bag or the chips bag there, and just some more little graphics and stuff on there. Top of it, very plain. You got the hanger tag there for the peg, and then Cheetos. It's upside down. There you go, Cheetos. And then the bottom, you got your barcode and all your legal E's. There is the barcode if you're trying to find these things. Again, they have been hitting Target stores. Be sure to check there if you're looking for them. Now, one thing I do like about these that I wish NECA would take a note from, these are magnetic. There is no Velcro in that. There are magnets holding that shut. I like that. It makes it very easy to open and close the flap. You know, with the NECA figures or the ones that use Velcro, it's bad to pull those off. Or like some Operation Monster Force, it tore the paper there and messed the box up if you wanted to keep them in box. So kudos to Jada for that. Got another graphic of Chester there on the inside. And there he is, Chester Cheetah. Very nice display here inside the package. The dark background kind of makes the accessories kind of pop out more, so you can tell what is in the packaging with him. But you got the figure, you got your alternate head sculpt, you got your alternate hands, you got the big Cheeto he comes with, and then the bag of Cheetos. So pretty cool packaging. Really like the display of these. I think Jada does a great job. I've got the ones that were at Ross last year, the Count Chocula and the Frankenberry. I have not opened those yet. It's my first time opening these figures, so I'm kind of excited to take these out of package. But that is what Chester looks like. And here we go with the Eye of the Tiger, Tony the Tiger, Frosted Flakes. Same thing as the Cheetos. You got on here, it's recommended for ages 6 and up. You got your Kellogg's Frosted Flakes logo on there. Here it is telling you it's an action figure. You got a bunch of warnings down here. Small parts, not for children of under 3 years of age. Your same thing over here. You got little action figure facts, with nutritional facts would be on the box of cereal. But again, serving size 1 figure. You can see if you want to pause and read all that stuff. There you go. I'm not going to read all that off to you, but you can see there what and all is on the packaging. And then you got a picture down there of Tony and all the things this one comes with. This one does come with more accessories than what Chester does, so it's pretty cool. The back of the box, again, you got some stuff on there for some character branding. You got the "They're great," you know, Tony the Tiger's catchphrase. Again, Tony, it's an action figure and not food. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, another picture of Tony there, one of his iconic poses, giving the big #1 sign. There's your side panel. Again, with a picture of Tony, branding, and some cereal. And then the top is the same thing as Chester Cheetah. You got a little picture of Tony there on this one, though. Then you got Kellogg's and Frosted Flakes and your hangy tab. There is the bottom of the box with all that lovely legalese. You can pause and zoom in on that if you would like. And there is your barcode. If you need to screenshot that, scan it at your local Target to see if your store may have or be getting any of these in. Same thing as Chester. You got your magnetic flap here on the front. You got a little slam dunk graphic on the inside with Tony the Tiger. And there he is. I gotta say, guys, out of these two figures, just looking at them in package, I'm the most excited for this one, so we're going to open him last. We're going to do Chester first, but you got your box of Frosted Flakes up here. Now, he comes with 2 sets of alternate hands in there. Actually, yeah, it is 2 sets of alternate hands. It comes actually 5 hands, so you have an extra hand down there with the spoon, like he's eating the cereal. But you got your extra hands in there. You got the basketball up here, and then down here in the bottom corner, you can see he's got the bowl of Frosted Flakes, which people were joking that it looks like a bowl of macaroni and cheese. And yeah, I can kind of see that. We'll check that out more when we get it out of the box. But that is your packaging for these beauties. Now, we take a look at the box. Let's take a look at what's inside the box. We're going to start with Chester Cheetah. Let's crack these things open and let's see what's in the boxes. Alright, as I normally do, if you watch my reviews, we're going to take a look at our accessories first. Everything Chester comes with, and then we'll take a look at the figure. The first thing comes with a big Cheeto, and I gotta say, guys, I mean, look at it here on the camera. It looks like a Cheeto. You do have some good detailing on that thing. I don't know how good you can tell here. I mean, you got some ridging and stuff on it. I mean, honestly, you would probably think this mag should be a Cheeto if it came out here. That or a flaming log or something like that. But pretty cool accessory, and of course it is fitting. The Chester Cheetah comes with the Cheeto. And of course you'll be able to put that in his hand if you want to. The bag of Cheetos also looks sweet. I mean, look at that. It looks like a bag of Cheetos. But being this small, the detailing, everything they got on there to look just like the bag, that is pretty good. Attention to detail, I think. That is pretty sweet. And even on the back, you got some of the branding here. It looks like the glue on the bag where it goes together there at the seam. I mean, a lot of cool detailing on this to make it look like an authentic Cheetos bag. So, again, guys, these are fun figures. I hope these are as good as they look in package here now that we got them out. His alternate hands, I mean, you can see here is just a basic alternate hand. I mean, you got the spots on the back there. You got his white palms. He doesn't have any Cheeto dust on his fingers on this one. And then you got your hinge joint there. That seems to be pretty good and loose right out of package. So we'll see how good his articulation is, or if he's going to be stiff on the joints there when I get him. Not too many paint blemishes. You got a few little itty bitty imperfections there on the fingers, but it's not enough really to. I really probably can't even tell on the camera. But right in there on the bend of the finger, there's a little bit of orange bleed over in between the white, but you have to really look to see it. So I'm not going to gripe too much about that, especially a $25 figure, given nowadays the prices and what you usually get for 25 bucks. Or they were 25 bucks, guys. I don't know what they are now. The prices of Jada stuff went up. Now this one, he does have some Cheeto dust on the inside, so I guess if you want to have him holding the Cheeto, this would be a good hand sculpt for that, since he's already got the powder there on his white hands. So that is pretty cool little detail there. The little, again, the faded white dust on there from the Cheetos. If you've ate Cheetos before, you've had that dust on you, so you know what it's like. Let's see what our joint is like there. All good and loose too out of the package. So looks pretty sweet. Now, one thing I will admit, when I saw this in package, the alternate head sculpt, I thought it looked like the jaw might be articulated. That mouth does not open. It is fixed shut. As you can see, there's no hinge or anything back there for that. So I'm not going to say it sucks, but it'd be kind of cool if you could have opened his mouth up there. But the whiskers, I mean, they're just plain old plastic whiskers. Feels like bristles off of a broom. They're also a little crazy there, you can see, but a little bit of manipulation, you can kind of get them to move on there. A good detailing on the face. One thing, if you try to look in behind the glasses, might get to zoom in good. I don't know if you can really tell, there's no eyes. I mean, so there's no kind of detailing behind that. Not that you're going to be looking for that, but, you know, it'd been cool if they would have painted an eyeball or something back there where you can see it instead of just being a flat orange. But the colors on him look great. You got a little bit of chipping on it right there, but again, it's just paint flaws I'm seeing so far are not significant enough for me to really dump on the figure. It's about what I expected, you know, for the price point that I paid. But pretty cool alternate head sculpt. And they go on, of course, with the usual old ball and peg or joint there in the ball joint. So, again, kind of thought that was going to be articulated, but the jaw sadly is not. All right, now let's check out Chester. Let's see what he's got here. Head sculpt, I mean, the head on this thing is pretty big and the neck is kind of small, but you know, the head, it doesn't droop all that much when you make him look up. I mean, it does go on there pretty good. It doesn't feel loose, like you're not going to be able to pose that head in a bunch of different positions and have it droop down. Now, it might in time, I'm not going to say that it's not, but again, it does seem to be pretty good out of the box. I mean, as far as the rotation on it, if you want to make him do the Exorcist 360, there you go. And again, he looks up about yay far. He looks down about yay far. So he looks up more than he does look down. And then, of course, you got the side-to-side range here where you can tilt the head, you know, back and forth. Very, very posable on there. But his nose is huge. It's probably going to get a little top-heavy in time if you wear out that socket there where the head attaches. Now, his arms, I do know some people have had some issues with these Jada food mascots with the arms breaking. They are small, and they do feel kind of like thin plastic, so I would be careful with these. Again, this is out of the packaging. I'm not going to force this if his shoulder doesn't move. We'll see. It actually goes up pretty good there. Wow, and goes way up there. I mean, you can see how far that hinge joint does go up. Let's see if the other one is just as good. Oh, there we go, guys. So pretty good range of motion on his shoulders right out of the package. And of course these will rotate all the way around in a 360. And then they come in. Of course you can see there's no butterfly joint. So right there is about as far as they're going to come in and then rock back. Elbows, it is not double jointed. Well, I might have double elbows the way it folds up there. But you can see there how far the elbow goes up. Taking it back down. There you go. And again, they are a single hinge joint. I'm making a joke with the double elbows on it. And they do go up pretty far, as you can see there, and then they extend back down. No hyperextension in the elbows. He does have a cut here in his center torso, you can see, right on his stomach. And he's kind of, I mean, he moves, but it's kind of like the Street Fighter figures I looked at on here. He will move, as you see, he pretty much snaps right back. So I don't really know what that feature is there for, because he's not going to stay in that position, or this one's not the one I've got. I would be really weary of torquing on this too hard. That just feels like that would break if you tried to force it and move it somewhere it doesn't want to go, which would kind of characteristic about any kind of plastic if you try to make it go where it doesn't want to go. But so you got a little bit of movement there. There is not much of an ab crunch or a rollback. I mean, you can roll him back about that far. His ab crunch, well, he does have a kind of a decent ab crunch for the kind of figure that he is. That's not bad. And put his head looking down there. So you got a little bit. And you can roll this to the side just a bit as well, you know, on each side if you want to make him kind of leaning a little bit on there, ever how you want to pose him. Your hands, your wrists do go all the way around. And then again, you saw the hands down here we were looking at. There's a single joint there where you can bend the wrist up, you know, about that far. And then you can bend it back about that far as having posability and stuff in the hands. As far as swapping these out, we'll check that out here in a minute. His tail we'll look at last. He does have a little bit of articulation in his tail. But the legs, let's see if Chester can do the Jean-Claude Van Damme. He can go out pretty far. I think he will be able to go all the way, but this plastic piece here, his torso kind of precludes that there from that plastic from going all the way up there. But the legs go out that far, and as you can see, guys, so far he's pretty good and limber out of the box. But you do have a cut there at the thigh where you can move these around. Then you got your knee joints where he does bend up pretty good. Those are really small hinge joints on those knees. I would be very careful in moving these legs. If you get this, that would be very, in my opinion, very easy to break. Alright, they do also turn at the knee if you wanted to turn these for whatever reason to get a little side foot action there, whatever. No cut at the boot, just there in the knees where they turn. And you do have a little bit of mobility in the ankle. I mean, it will go down about that far, and it goes up about that far. So almost back to level as far as getting him posed there in his feet. And then there's a side-to-side action as well on the ankle. You can see there it rolls to the inside about that much. It will roll to the outside. Actually, pretty good, decent amount there. So some pretty good articulation in his ankles. And then we have the tail. The tail, if I can find a way to show it, you can see right there, if I'm kind of showing close up of his butt, he does have a hinge in his tail. So, you know, you can put the tail up like that if you want to. You can put it down. You can twist it like that, move it up like that. You know, take it to the side. You do have a 360 range of motion with that thing. You know, you can move about anywhere you want to there. I'll probably leave mine, I'll probably leave it like that. A typical tail pose. And one thing about this, if you're having trouble getting him to stand, you can probably put that tail down and kind of use it like a kickstand. Make him like a tripod. But as big as these feet are, I'm going to assume he's going to stand pretty well. And yeah, I mean, he does. I don't think you have much trouble getting this into any kind of standing position with those big feet. But like I said, for the first one I've ever held and taken out a package, I do like this. I think it's going to be fun. But now let's switch over to Tony and let's see if he is indeed great. And here we have Tony the Tiger. He is out of the package, guys. Got to say, I think Tony, for the price, is a little bit better deal, just given the amount of accessories versus what Chester comes with, because you do get a few more things here with Tony. But speaking of accessories, let's take a look at these things first. Look at the most boring one first. You know, he has a little feature you'll see here in a minute where you can put the pointer finger where he's like spinning the basketball. This is supposed to be a little swoosh that goes around the basketball to make it look like it, you know, it's spinning in motion, the air blowing around it or whatever. So you do get that little accessory with him there to go on that. We'll take a look at that in more depth here in a minute. Speaking of the basketball, there you go. You do get a basketball. He used to play ball a lot in the commercials back in the day. And to show what I'm talking about, if I can get it to go on there. There you go. He put that on there on his finger like he's spinning it around. Gives a little effect there for some, I guess, greater imaginative properties. But the basketball is actually textured. I don't know if you can tell it that much on the camera. You can see the texturing a little bit there if I can get the camera to zoom on it. Come on. There it goes. You can see a little bit there in the light, but you do have some texturing on there. That's pretty cool. Only thing with this, if it has the black and the lines here, where basketballs normally have on there, make it a little better, but it's all one solid color. Kind of looks like a pumpkin, but still, pretty cool accessory to come with it. Before we get into the hands, my favorite accessory is the little box of Frosted Flakes. That's fun. That's awesome right there. It looks like one of the family size boxes. You've got your nutritional facts there on the side. I don't know how good that's going to zoom in. It's even hard with me sticking right up to my face trying to read it. But it does have calories and stuff written on it there. It's actually got nutritional facts on there. I wonder if they're accurate to a box of Frosted Flakes. I like to get a magnifying glass because I got a box of Frosted Flakes in the house in there I can go in there and compare it to. But there is the back of our box. There is your other side. So once again, guys, it looks like a box of Frosted Flakes. Now, it would have been cool here on the bottom if they would have put like the lines and flaps down here, like where the boxes are glued at the bottom. And then at the top, some lines representing the little flap where you open it. But still, it's a cool little accessory it comes with in there. All right, your hands. We will start. This is the one the basketball goes on. He's twirling the basketball. If you look on the bottom of the basketball, you will see there is a hole. On the end of his finger, you will see there is a peg. And you simply, there you go. So that's how, if you want to get into twirl the basketball, there's how you get that aesthetic going. That's pretty, I like that. That's pretty clever, I got to say. That's pretty sweet. But the hand here, I mean, it's like the other. We looked at on now. We'll look at on the actual figure. You got some good detailing there and paint. Don't see a little bit of paint flaws right there on the side, but nothing really significant as far as bleeding over the white on the orange badly or anything like that. It's a pretty nice little hand sculpt. And then you got your hinge joint here where you can move it, you know, side to side. Looks like it's pretty limber there out of the packaging. Next finger is he's given the number 1 here. Good thing the middle one's not raised up, but you do have that sculpt there you can put on him like he's saying Frosted Flakes are number 1 like he does when he says they're great and points upward. But once again, you can see there, pretty good detailing, not a lot of paint bleed over anything from the white to the orange. It's not crisp, clear lines. There's a little bit, you can see like right there, a little bit on there. But again, this is not a super high-skilled action figure, so I'm not going to have an issue with that. The most significant is going to be, you see right there, you got some of that white bleeding off on the orange back side of the thumb going down to his wrist. But again, it's nothing massive. And then the peg there, you know, is good and worked and loose there right out of the packaging. If you want to make him like he's dribbling the basketball, you have that little feature there with the peg on the palm like he's dribbling. You put him in an action shot like he's trying to play ball there, but that's pretty cool as well. Otherwise, you just got a flat palm hand there with a peg in the middle of it. And again, same as the others. You get, actually, this one looking at, it's got probably but the best paint going from the white to the orange out of the ones I have looked at thus far. You can see there, there's not much bleed over going on. And then you got your hinge joint. That one's a little bit stiff to get it moving, but as soon as I got it popped loose, you can see no problems. As far as our basketball accessory hands, that is it. We do have a thumbs up hand here. And again, same kind of stuff as the other ones we looked at there. Pretty good detailing on there. A little bit of paint flaws there on the white where it meets the orange. But not anything significant. And we'll see how good this one is. Oh, that's probably the loosest one yet. It's loose enough to where you can move it around without worry of breaking it, but tight enough to where it's going to hold its position whenever you stop it. And now probably the coolest hand he comes with. He does come with the bowl of Frosted Flakes here. Of course, you got a hand here. It's got a big metal spoon in it with a spoonful of Frosted Flakes. Kind of the same thing as a thumbs up hand. He just got his thumb more down than he does up. And you can see that there from looking at the shot on the camera right now. Let me try to get it where block that stuff in the back out. Not seeing a lot of bleed over again from the white to the orange or anything like that. The detailing on the spoon looks good. It actually looks like there's some depth in there, so I kind of like that. Doesn't look like just a flat piece of plastic glued to the top of the spoon or something. Your peg, good and loosened up on that. And the spoon, you can move in his hands. So if you want to turn the wrist a different way, you can turn the spoon to make it match wherever you want. And when you push this fatter part here down into his hand more, it makes him get a tighter grip on the spoon. So you get it where you want it and pull that down a little bit to kind of hold it into place. So if that was the intended design, good job, Jada. You made that thing move, or you can move it around, and you can get it kind of secured in his hand without having to use a peg or anything like that. And our last accessory, here we go. There it is, the big bowl of macaroni. I've heard a lot of people making jokes that this looks more like macaroni than it does Frosted Flakes. I mean, for a $25 figure, with $25 when I bought it, and how much they've raised to now because of the price increases, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. It looks pretty cool. And then you've got a hole on the bottom of that one where you can use the flat hand here with the peg and put it there. And that's how he can hold his bowl of cereal as he's eating it with a spoon hand there. So that's pretty cool. Pretty good little feature with that. Fun features that come with this. I mean, to me, with Chester and Tony, I really like to have the represented snack or cereal there. You got a bag of Cheetos with Chester. You got the box of Frosted Flakes there with Tony. But as far as our figure, guys, let's get these out of the way so it doesn't keep trying to zoom in on the stuff on the table. There we go. It's out of shot, so we should get better looks at Tony with the camera doing crazy crap. There is your head sculpt, as you can see. Chester comes with an extra, I guess that's your trade-off. You get an extra head sculpt with Chester, where you just get the one with Tony. The whiskers are the same bristle material that we saw on Chester. The paint on this, though, looks really good. I mean, I don't see a lot of flaking or a lot of issues there with the paint on the head sculpt, just looking at it here through the viewfinder. So pretty good looks around there. You got soft goods here for his little bandana, ascot, whatever it is. And of course, as you see there, it's got Tony on there like it should for his name. As far as articulation, not a whole lot of sideways movement. You got a little bit there. He'll give you a little bit of attitude, but the head will do the full 360. I don't want to mess the bandana up, so I'm not going to do that. And as far as looking up, his waist bends quite a bit because of all the, you got an extra point of articulation here in the torso. So you can do about like that, but just as far as a strict head going up and down, he'll look down about yay much. He'll look up. He doesn't have very much upward head tilt at all. It kind of goes more level than it does going up. And I don't think it's that, now it's not the bandana precluding it. It just pretty much goes to there and stops. So a little bit of upward tilt, not a lot. And then again, you can kind of turn him, of course, side to side, like I said, all the way around, should you choose to. Now, one thing before we get into the arm articulation, look at the waist here. You've got the upper torso part here is one big piece, and actually this is very movable. It's not like Chester and some of the other figures from Jada, the Street Fighters I've looked at, to where you move this and it comes back into place. You move it and it pops back into place. This will stay about where you leave it to give you some more posability there. Now, this part here where it's going against that rubber diaper piece down here, it's a little more challenging. You can probably, I'm sure you can hear that where it's rubbing against that rubber, but it does kind of stay in place. I don't know why you'd want to do that and have the white here out of line with each other. It doesn't really look natural, but I do like you have the extra thing of articulation there because it does give you some more options with how you can bend and stretch Tony here. I mean, he's pretty pliable with that thing going on. I mean, look at that, what he can do. If you want to put him like he's laying down, you almost got like a Jeff Goldblum sexy pose from Jurassic Park with him there, but that is fun. Extra little bit of articulation on there to have some fun with this figure. Alright, our arms, let's see, the shoulder joint's a little stiff, I gotta say there, but again, guys, I just took this out of package. This one is going to have, I can't get that one to go any farther than that, you know, straight out of the package, so you can see there what he will do. I feel like this one will go as far as this one does. Well, if I just would have forced it. I get nervous forcing these new figures sometimes, guys. You don't want to break the things, but right there, that feels like the max you're going to get out of his shoulders. It will rotate all the way around. You do have bicep cuts on both arms there. You can see those moving. Those are a little bit stiff, and the way that the shoulder is made, you're not going to get them to go around too awful much because it's going to hit that plastic there and not want to move. So you can see about how far I can move it there. And then again, you got the same thing going on over here. Elbows, let's get his arm back down here. Your elbow articulation, they are double jointed. That elbow is stiff. It looks like it'll bend up about that much. With the double elbow, it should fold all the way in, but given the bulk of the plastic in here, you can see it's touching his... He's got too big of biceps. He's been having too much on arm day. But it gets against that. It's not going to go any farther than that, long story short. Moving it down, there's no hyperextension. It does lock out straight as an arrow there, though. And then down at your wrist, it will go all the way around if you want to. I like the fact they gave him a fist, so you can do some action shots with him. And then you got the little, of course, the hinge joint there where his hand will bend in that much, and it'll flex back out about that much. So you got some wrist articulation. And then again, it's the same thing on this arm over here. Let's see if his double jointed elbow is a little bit more stiff. Nah, it moved pretty good. The elbows were a little bit stiff, but not bad. Just kind of sucks you can't use the full range of that double jointed elbow due to the size of his guns up here. Alright, let's get his arms up here out of the way. Take a look at his legs. Now, one thing I'm worried about with him, you can see the size of the upper torso. I mean, it's pretty good size on him there. He got a lot of plastic, a lot of bulk up here. You got a small, tiny legs here. The feet are kind of good size. They're not huge. What I'm getting to, I'm wondering how good he's going to stand. If he's going to have trouble balancing him. Good thing you do have the tail there. You can kind of use as a kickstand for him, but... Let's see if his little short stubby legs will do the Van Damme splits. He'll get close. I mean, that's not too bad there for what he'll do. The knee joints on this one and Chester, they are kind of small. So I would, and to tail as well. You know, be careful with those on both figures if you get them, because it might be kind of easy to break those where they're smaller. But let's bend his leg up there. That's about as far up as I can get the knee to go. And then again, no hyperextension when you straighten it back out. And that's going to be the same on both legs. Again, very limber and very good out of the package. I've only had the one shoulder, and the double jointed elbows here were stiff. And as you saw, they weren't stiff enough where I couldn't get them to come undone. All right, his ankles, they will fold up pretty far there as far as going down. They'll go almost flattened out. That's pretty cool. You can turn. You got a cut right there, as you can see. So you can turn that any way you need to help get him balanced and posed. That's a good feature as well. That will help in distributing and transferring some of this weight up here to get the thing to stand up. Alright, our tail. And you can look on it too here. I want to show the stripes on him. And the stripes are pretty symmetrical, I will say, and not a lot of blurred or any kind of bleed over on the black paint. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of blemishes on here if you look hard enough, but just look at him over here. It looks like a pretty good QC job on these things as well. Your tail, it looks about the same as Chester Cheetah's, to be quite honest. I mean, Chester's a little bit fatter. Tony's is a little bit smaller than what Chester's is. Same kind of design there, but you do have the hinge joint right there. Oh, I can get it on camera. Right there at the top, you can see it where you can bend the tail outward. You can take it down. You can twist it around the back and get some different poses with him there. I think it will be handy to help balance the figure when he's standing up, where you can put it down there. So let's just set him down here, see if he will stand up without too much coercion. Yeah, he's wanting to tilt backward. There you go. I mean, you bend his feet down pretty good. I had to get his feet at an angle. I mean, that's kind of flattened out, given they're a little bit turned up on there to get him to stand. But there you go. He will stand halfway decent. And I have seen some people doing some fig photography where they got his knee bent a little bit and got him standing in kind of some more action-y poses. So they were able to balance him. There's got to be a way to do it. You just have to mess around with him and find the way to distribute the weight to get him to stand up. Just trying to see if I can get him to stand here with his knee bent. Ah, there we go. I was able to do it. So that's pretty cool. Got him standing in that pose. But that is our Tony the Tiger figure, guys. Let's switch over now. Let's get them both back on camera. And then let's check these things out for some final thoughts. And here we go, everybody. Once again, using my McFarlane Toys camo tumbler box as my riser here to get these guys high enough to get on camera. But we've got Tony set up here. He's spinning the basketball. He's flexing the bicep. He's looking all good here for the camera. Chester's doing what he gets paid to do. He's advertising the brand. He's got his Cheeto in one hand, got the bag showing you there in the other. Guys, these are great figures, I gotta say. Really enjoy these. The detail and quality on them for the price point. I'm not for sure. They may have went up in Target's last round of price increases. I don't know as far as Target stores, but when I bought them, they were $25 each, $24.99. I feel they are worth that. You can tell here I switched out some of the hands on Tony. His stuff switches out very easily. He's a bigger guy here than Chester, so the pegs popped out easy. They popped back in very easy and secure, and they felt like I weren't going to break them. That being said, Chester Cheetah, you can tell by looking at him here on the camera, he is a smaller figure. He's got smaller arms, smaller joints, all that stuff. I kind of felt a little nervous popping his hand off and popping the new one in. I felt like it was less sturdy going in there. So if you do get this figure and you change some of the hands out on him, I'd recommend being a little bit careful. Don't just pop them and shove them back on there. You're going to want to take your time, work them in and out, so you don't end up breaking the stud or breaking the arm or something like that. But with that being said, that's not a negative enough not to buy them. I highly recommend them if you like these figures, you like Jada Toys, you like these characters. They're going to look great on the shelf. One thing I am going to try to do, though, I have got one of those McFarlane weapons packs with a bunch of pew-pews and all that stuff in them. I'm going to try to see if they will hold any of that stuff in their hands. If they will, I'll probably do some stuff on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram, so if I do get that to work, you'll be able to see Tony and Chester here taking on some different bad guys teaming up here to take them on. But once again, guys, that's it for the video. If you got these figures, let me know what you think about them in the comments. Do you like them, hate them, wish you hadn't bought them, wish they made more, whatever you think about those. If you haven't bought them yet, let me know. Are these pickups or pass for you if you see these things in store or find them online? But if you did enjoy this video, do me a favor, once again, hit that like button. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video. If you're not subscribed to The Man Collects, consider hitting subscribe. Turn on your bell for notifications so you'll know when videos drop. Oh, let's see what else we got. Follow me on Instagram. I think I already talked about that. Send me messages on there. But we're going to wrap it up for tonight, everybody. And I will see you the next time The Man Reviews.